Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host and the noob Caliban. Coffee, tea, or we?
We're a couple of magical people ready to Moon Eternal make up this episode. Today we are talking about episode number 188. Kyofu no e Shotai, Usagi no Yaken Hiko in Japanese, and the English translation, Invitation to Terror, Usagi's Night Flight, and the German title, Die Glusemisen werden Glufet. The secrets will be revealed.
How about... not bad for winging it, I guess. D.
Oh, it's D?
D.
Okay.
Not die. Die. An invitation to die. Die Geheimnisse werden gelüftet.
Die Geheimnisse werden gelüftet.
Not bad.
Okay.
Yeah. The secrets will be revealed. And it's so German, isn't it?
It is.
Just get right to the point.
Cut
Invitation
the crap.
to Terror. Forget the night flight. What is all this? Go on. The secrets will be revealed.
Yeah.
Very direct.
It is.
And they have a word that means that, but they've broken it down into the separate words just for the international audience.
Very considerate of them.
They're not going to waste the good long words on you. Yeah. Some secrets, in a way, secrets are, well, we'll talk about it, I guess.
Yeah.
Secrets are revealed.
They are.
I got a lot more. They weren't the secrets, not to me. It wasn't secret to me.
No, it wasn't secret to me.
Is this
either.
title for the characters in the show?
I think it is.
Well, they're going to be really surprised when they see this. But yeah, no secrets for the audience. But that's okay. I don't want to have any secrets with a show. I'm sure our listeners agree with that. And we don't have any secrets from them. We're going to talk about some of the comments that we got on Spotify this week.
All right.
On Spotify, if you're a Spotify listener, you can go to your Spotify app or Spotify on the web and enter a comment. Tell us what you thought about the episode, whatever episode you're listening to. We were talking about baseball and softball last week. And in response to that, we got a comment from listener Cincy Raz on episode 187, The Shining Power of a Star, Chibi Chibi's Transformation. And the comment goes like this: as a big baseball fan and Sailor Moon fan, I've always loved this episode. But you're right, it could have been better. In the spirit of another favorite anime of mine, Princess Nine, you know that one?
I don't know that one.
Put it on the list. Where an all-girls baseball team tries to make it to Koshien, we could field a whole team with just the Senshi. Sparkling wide pressure would make Jupiter our pitcher. I think Venus would be our backstop. You need good teamwork for a double play, so Uranus at short and Neptune at second. Pluto has the reach for first. And then, on episode 186, Chibi Chibi's Mystery, The Big Noisy Chase, Cincy Raz says, I can't comment more than once per episode, so this is a continuation of my baseball comment on episode 187. To finish our infield, I have Saturn at third, Mars has the arm to play right field, and I think Mercury could play center. That leaves Usagi in left. I think Luna would be a good manager, and Diana and Artemis could be base coaches. Chibiusa could be a pinch hitter, or perhaps she could be the manager. Let me know what you think. Sorry for the comment spam. Prayer hands. Prayer hands. Sweat drop. No problem. Don't worry about it. Good to hear from you. What do you think about this?
I think it sounds pretty good, actually.
I have one quibble.
Okay.
I would put Mercury as the catcher.
Oh. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Because her whole thing is she's like the wall. You can't knock her over. Is that she's, got shields or bubbles or stability is her entire thing, So you want her there when somebody comes running home. And then I think Mina would be just fine in center field. But otherwise, yeah, pretty strong, pretty solid. Chibi is a mascot, maybe?
I could see her being the mascot.
Maybe they're the Juban Chibiusas. Or maybe that's Chibi Chibi's job.
I could see Chibi Chibi doing that.
Is she the...
Like doing a little dance in between the innings and stuff like that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They try to... How do you think the game's going? Chibi Chibi. Chibi Chibi Chibi. Chibi Chibi Chibi. True. Yeah, they're looking pretty good out there. Thanks for your comment, Cincy. I feel like, the world is just racing to what we don't know. And we don't take time to really think about the important things. Like the fact that they made a chibi version of a chibi character. Are we going to get Chibi Chibi Chibi? Who will simply be a pink molecule.
Oh my God.
that floats around and gets in people's soup.
Oh my God.
They took a character that was literally the chibi version of another character and went, make a chibi version of that.
Yes.
No, sir. It's too much. I said, do it, damn you. So that's what we've got. But yeah, I look forward to seeing these guys in action. I mean, are they the Senshi? What are they? What's the team name?
Oh gosh. The Senshi could be used. I mean, if it was in English, the Warriors.
The Soldiers.
The Soldiers.
They play at Senshi Field.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the merchandise, big foam hand, but it's doing the Sailor Moon hands,
yeah.
you know. So everybody's hand gesture, there's a colored foam hand for that.
I like that.
I think it's time.
That's a good idea.
We'll work on the songs and the dances and the chants later. But,
okay.
I think we've got that down. So thanks for your comment. Listener, if you want to leave a comment and tell us what you thought about the episode, go to Spotify on your phone app or on your web app and let us know what you thought about the episode. Leave a comment today.
Cal, can you tell us what happens on today's episode?
I will. We begin our episode with a recap centered on Chibi Chibi. My name is Chibi Chibi Sakino. I'm 4 years old. A bit of an actual baby. That's about it. We see the final battle from last week's episode at the ballpark, and Usagi tells us that when Chibi Chibi touched the tiare, she felt a new kind of energy.
Pure energy.
And we see the end of last week's episode. We cut to Fruit Parlor Crown for this week's episode, where the squad is discussing this development as Chibi Chibi puts the hurt on an ice cream parfait.
Yep.
Ami says, we all felt that energy.
Pure energy.
Which means that we're not wasting time this year with individual power episodes, I guess. They're all just more powerful now. Remember we used to do like, oh, wow, I've got a grandpa's and his brother is, oh, I've got a new bubble. Or something.
Yeah, right.
Now we're just like, we're all stronger. Thanks, Chibi Chibi. I've been thinking, on that note, have we lost our way here?
You think so?
Despite the show trying to reset, it's been a long time since I thought much about like the Senshi characters themselves and their individual powers and their lives.
Yeah.
It's one thing to say, oh, Ray's got an uncle or whatever. And then that's how we get to the woods and there's a freaky Jason, right? But like, we're not tracking things. I don't get like a Yuichiro to be mad about.
Yeah, right.
You know, and then like, oh, come on, reject him. There's just we're not doing character development anymore.
No, you're right. We're not doing individual character episodes. We're not doing character development.
Well, you know, as I just said, I'm a little shaky on the individual character episodes. They're not always great, but I felt like we were heading somewhere and maybe it was high school. Maybe that's where I felt like we were heading. And we're here now. Yeah. And they haven't necessarily replaced that goal with a new goal, like say graduation. I mean, that's probably, I'm sure probably some have, but has any anime ever like taken the girls from junior high all the way through to graduation? Their characters?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know either, but yeah, I feel like we've lost the focus somewhat on finding new things for the Senshi to do and to be. And maybe that's having 190 episodes, you know, in the past. Maybe it's what happens when you add 4 more main characters to the show.
Right.
And then you have to also sort of water down your stories for them too, because, you know, how long are they going to be around? 25 episodes or so. Right. So I just want like, we're getting there. I feel like look, we've been here before. We've incrementally inched along in the past. Yes. And I've complained about it every time. But this time, before I even watched this episode, I was thinking, come on, guys. 2 things. Let's move forward. Yes. And let's start to land things. I want to see Ami start applying for med schools, you know? Yeah. I want to see whatever Makoto's going to do with her life. I want to see her start a bake shop or something. Yes. I want to see Mina get laid. Come on.
Oh my gosh.
Do you know what I mean? I just feel like we're every time, and maybe this is me. Maybe this is me just getting, a nerd to we're doing the same thing over and over. Maybe it was always this way from the start. But I felt like every time we jumped in, it was like, where are we now? And where are we on the steps of the journey to wherever it is that we're going?
Yes.
And I feel like we're trapped in this. It's maybe sort of resetting to, I'm Usagi Tsukino, I'm 16 years old, and I don't cry as much as I used to. That's about it. Maybe that makes it feel even more like we're just trapped and just turning around, just going around. There's Big Ben. There's Big Ben. There's Big Ben. Caught in the roundabout.
I think that something that you touched upon, that like they added more characters, so then it's more watered down. I think that that's definitely affecting the show.
And it's a thing that could pay off retroactively if it turns out that these characters that they've added are very important to the cosmology of the show as we know it.
Right.
But I gotta tell you, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's just novelty, possible backdoor pilot, new toys to sell. That's kind of what I think.
Yeah.
I'm not. Hey, look, I don't hate it. I'm enjoying it. But that's kind of what I think.
I feel like when Nako Takushi gets stuck or she doesn't know what to do, she adds new characters.
Right. Or she's, yeah. First of all, give me that Time Life book. Okay. Metals. All right. Sailor Molybdenum, you're up. Let's go.
Right.
Yeah. Minako says, hey, maybe Chibi Chibi came here to give us this power. The power of new merchandising lanes. Usagi looks at Chibi Chibi like, you're not outselling my merch, you little sponge. We cut to 3 Light Studio where Seiya is noodling on his electric guitar. He thinks, the shining star that I felt. I'm certain the princess is close. Yaten, who actually seems to be happy for once, says, our message might have reached her. And Taiki says, let's believe that and do our best. Seiya strums once more and says, we'll see her soon. Queen Galaxia says, the hateful light that might change my destiny. And we see a flash of pink energy that seems to suffuse an image of the galaxy. She pounds her fist on her golden throne and says, the time I gave you is running out. She's yelling at Sailor's Aluminum Siren and Lead Crow, and Siren says, please don't worry about it, Madam Galaxia. The real star seed has been found. And Crow next to her is like, where are you going with this? And Siren says, oui, my operation is perfect. Galaxia says, so I can believe in you, Siren? Sign here on this death contract? And she says, oui, vraiment. But as this happens, we hear the tinkle of a bell. But it's like a low, evil tinkle. And we see a shadowy figure in the background in a leather bustier with long gloves and a tail. Another new character! And a furry? There should be an evil Luna.
There should be an evil Luna?
If the Galaxy Sailors are supposed to be like the evil counterparts of the Senshi, then they need an evil cat that gives them bad advice. Or possibly good advice.
Good advice to being evil.
Meow, meow. Take wooden nickels. Serve wine before it's time. Invest in bored apes.
Oh my God. We
cut to Earth as Ami and Makoto are walking to school. And Mako says, so what are we going to do today? AmiMako! It's happening! It's finally happening! We should see more pairing between individual members of the squad.
We should. Not
just for shippers, but friendships go like that sometimes.
Yeah, they do.
Let me ask you, as a girl.
Okay.
I'm going to need some proof of that. What are the rules? If you got a friend group that does things together, do you get in trouble if you go one-on-one with one friend more than the others?
Sometimes I think you do.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I feel like you're leaving me out, or that sort of thing.
Well, now we know who's being left out.
Hey!
That's not what I asked. That's like, you immediately put it from your POV, and you're like, you're leaving me out, to like an invisible group of friends who have left you out. So you've never had a group of friends, like let's say 4 or 5 friends, and then some Saturday, you and another one of those friends, just one, like go to, the Barbie movie, do you hear on Monday about how like, oh, you guys are going to the party movie? What about me?
I'm trying to think if anything like that has actually ever happened to me. Has it happened to you?
I feel like I have a friend who I had, school friends, and then I had a friend who I hung out with a lot, and I never really hung out much with those other friends. He and I just hung out all the time.
Right. That's kind of my experience too.
Yeah. So maybe he would go out with those friends, and I wasn't there for some reason, and then I'd find out, but I would be like, well, I don't really like those guys anyway, so that's fine. I don't feel like I missed anything. But I don't know what their perspective was.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's a great question. We'll have to ask somebody. Send us your letters. Ami looks at her little day planner and says, let's see. We'll take the monorail, a little antiquing. Oh, and we have to have the U-Haul back by 6 o'clock. Before she could finish, Usagi leaps out and says, Ohio! Mako and Ami are like, ah! And Ami says, Usagi, you're up pretty early today. Usagi says, yeah, what were you talking about? See, she's doing this thing here.
She is.
She's doing the thing. And when they hesitate, she thinks, oh, you can't tell me about it? Is something gay going on here? And the girls are like, what? No, we were just headed to the zoo.
Library.
I mean, we're going to the library. We're going to the zoo library. Yes, they've got a lot of books for the animals to read. It's nice.
We're going to the gay zoo library.
Usagi is getting more suspiciously frustrated as we hear, Ohio, a ticket. Did you bring yours? As Minako comes running up the lane. Hey guys, we're going straight there, right? And Mako and Ami are like, Minako, shut up. Minako sees Usagi and is like, oh, hi, hello, you're early. Usagi stares at her and says, I think I can wake up when I smell a secret. I mean, it's like, secret? When have I ever had a secret? Usagi says, we're friends, aren't we? I thought I was a friend that you could share everything with. This isn't a gay thing. You guys are ditching me. Nami and Mako are like, Minako? And Minako says, sorry. Later, we see a jetliner pass over Juban Sr. as the girls are in class, and Usagi says, a preview on the flight? And Minako says, yes, an advanced preview of the Three Lights movie on tonight's flight. And it's a movie, which is an object. So the Three Lights movie is correct. Mako says, 3 lights are going to be on board too. And Minako says, that's right. And also, they'll be on the plane. Mina says, the city lights from a plane at night. And we see Minako's vision of the evening, the night lights of Tokyo outside of the plane window, and her being waited on by 3 lights in matador costumes? Not bathrobes.
Oh my God.
Too suggestive.
Yes.
Speaking of suggestive, Minako is like in a Jessica Rabbit dress.
Yes, she is.
All red sequins and cleavy.
Yes.
Still has her bow in her hair though, too, which is funny. She says, so romantic. But Usagi just has like this blank, mildly angry look on her face as she stares at her. Mako says, don't agitate her. But it's too late. Usagi screams, no! I want to come! I want to come! I want to come!
Do not come. Do not come.
She says, I want to get on board with you guys. And Ami says, but you don't belong to the fan club. And Usagi says, whoa, okay, I belong to it right now. I declare fan club. And she turns around and runs down the hall yelling, Seiya! As Mako says, I knew this would happen. Would an idol group really charter a plane and fill it up with fan club members and then circle Narita all night?
It's weird.
Isn't it?
I think it's strange.
This is a cartoon thing, right?
Yeah.
Look, it's another culture.
Yes.
I don't know what they do. Maybe they just load everybody up onto a plane, go up 10,000 feet, go around a couple times.
I mean, it's a novelty.
71 minutes,
but...
however long this dumb movie is.
Yeah, right.
And they go, thank you. And they land it. Maybe people get crackers or some pretzels or something. And that's it. I could see a cruise.
Yeah, I could see a cruise.
You ever been on a
too.
celebrity cruise? Or a booze cruise?
No, I've never been
or
on
a blues cruise?
No to all of the above, but
Well, let's find the vomit. I never watched Blue's Clues. Too old. I did. Well, speaking of being too old, too young. In high school, we went to Hawaii for a band trip, and you know, I don't know why they just didn't. I guess so we wouldn't, burn anything down or get pregnant or something. But you buy a package, and the package comes with all the goofy things that you do.
Of course.
If I went today, I'd leave me alone. I will discover my own private Oahu. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
But we did all the cheesy stuff. And some of it was fun. But one of it was a booze cruise, and we're all 16, so nobody's
oh my gosh.
boozing on the cruise. But it was fun, though. You get on a ship, and normally there would just be, tons of alcohol on it. But instead there was food and a buffet. I think we had gone to... I remember this specifically. We had gone to, I think, Hard Rock for dinner. Okay. So we were all full. Then you go on the cruise, and it's just buffet food. They don't have any booze, so they're just going to feed you. So I remember thinking oof, let's go. Let's get the plates. Come on. No, we got to do it. Because we're out here, they're serving all this seafood, all this stuff that you're not going to get anywhere else, back home. So yeah, right. Stuffed ourselves. And they're like, all right, everybody up. It's time to dance.
Oh, my God, no.
And the whole time, the ship is just... about a mile out, just kind of pacing back and forth in front of the harbor. And it looks nice. It's warm. It's Hawaii. You see the lights and everything. And then they take you back in. You throw up.
Oh, my gosh.
Go to bed. Did I have scallops?
Oh, my God. Gross.
We cut to Seiya in class, who says, what? You want to join the fan club? Is he the secretary?
I don't know.
Is he going to sword on either shoulder? You are now in the fan club. Yeah, I'll need to laminate your membership card. Just 1 second. Lamination. Remember?
Yeah, I do remember.
What if we hated the earth so much we just started encasing things in plastic? That's Conan's favorite sound,
Encasing things in plastic?
No, the laminations of the women.
Oh my God.
Conan the librarian, of course.
Of course.
Don't you know the Dewey Decimal System?
In answer to Seiya's question... I'm kind of proud of that. Usagi says, yep, so give me my ticket for tonight. Seiya says, there might not be any left. I mean, there was limited seating because it's a plane. And Usagi's like, Taiki. And she runs over to him, but he says, it's because you're asking me today. What?
Oh my gosh.
Translation rewind. In the Viz sub on YouTube, he says, it's kind of too late to ask on the day of the event. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's all cope from Viz, though, isn't it? It's kind of too late. That's way too Japanese. You wouldn't say that in Japanese.
No, I don't think so.
How do you say it's kind of too late in Japanese?
I don't know.
So I think that, once again, they're just sort of making it up. I call that Viz cope. She runs to Yaten, and he says, I don't have any, which is one word in Japanese. I have none for you. As Usagi dashes from idol to idol, the Juban squad watches from the door. Manako saying, poor Usagi. And Makoto says, that's why we agreed to keep it quiet. Anybody want to give up theirs? I mean, it's like, what? I mailed in 30 times and I only got 1 ticket. So it was a mail-in thing?
Apparently it was a mail-in thing.
Like box tops or something?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
3 Lights is on 3 Lights edition of checks.
Oh my gosh.
Of wheat checks. Send in your box tops. To die in the air.
Oh my God.
Later, the girls are... Yes, nobody dies in the air. You die on the ground. Although, Mamoru probably died in the air. Speaking of things I want to be resolved, we'll get there. Later, the girls are headed home. Usagi is totally defeated, and Mako tells her, I'll tell you all about it after. And Mina says, yeah, and the dinner. Well, we gotta go meet up with Ray. And they all leave Usagi standing alone on the street. Sighing, Usagi heads home, where she's met by Chibi Chibi, who's holding an envelope addressed to Usagi Tsukino. Usagi says, no stamp or return address. Whoa, I may have already won. She opens the letter and says, a ticket for tonight. It must be from Seiya. And here's what the ticket says. I lensed it.
Okay.
3 Lights starring movie completion event. Yodo Kaiken Chaco Commander.
Oh my gosh.
Become a permanent thief at the storehouse. What?
I have no idea. Become a permanent thief at the
How do you teach
House?
how do you teach an AI what multiple meanings of a pictogram are?
That's a great question.
Because in Japan, it's like, oh, sometimes it's this, but sometimes it's this, and it's like 2:30 on Friday, it's this.
Yeah, right.
How can a computer know that?
I don't know.
So I'm sure that all of these characters do spell become a permanent thief at the storehouse, but they also mean something else.
Yeah, right.
And that's what it's supposed to be on this ticket.
Yeah, right.
I didn't know the subtitle of the Super Commander film was Become a Permanent Thief at the Storehouse. And it's a top preview screening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Usagi thinks, what a nice guy. And she reads the letter inside. Dear Sailor Moon, what? I'll be expecting you. I've got a special seat for you. Sailor Aluminum Siren. Unsettled, Usagi sits down next to Chibi Chibi and says, how does she know about me? Chibi? Secret identity hijinks.
Yes.
They're going to happen.
Yes.
Usagi thinks of her friends on the plane and says, I have to warn them. Chibi! Usagi says, I have to head for the airport, and she runs out. Chibi! At the airport, the PA announcer says, passengers for the Three Lights chartered flight at 6 o'clock. The Three Lights is a flight, so it's correct. We see the girls going through security, and they're in their school uniforms, too. They didn't want to wear anything nice for this.
Yeah, no kidding.
I know 6 p.m. is probably a pretty quick turnaround, but I've worked in a Catholic high school. The school day ends, and most kids change with blinding speed into street clothes.
Yeah, right.
They're like Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Spin, 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 combat boots. Spin, 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 lipstick. Spin, tube top. The Catholic school was next to a topless bar.
Oh my God.
Usagi is in a taxi yelling, faster, faster, as the cab speeds to the airport. The driver says, I can't go any faster, miss. You know, one day a real rain is going to come. And she's like, yeah. You really need to clean this back seat. Now step on it. We see the plane and we see inside as the fans are seated and the flight attendants are going through the safety routine. We see the squad buckling in and Minako says, I wonder what Usagi's doing. Rei fumbles with her seatbelt, saying, she must be crying. Hey, I've got 2 female ends, but if you tie them together, it works just fine. Life, finds a way.
Oh my God.
That is a hat shop full of references, but it's what we do here.
That is one big pile of shit.
Cut to the cab as Usagi leans over the seat, willing the car to go faster.
Must go faster.
Back in the plane, 3 Lights have arrived to the delight and screams of the girls. Seiya says, thank you for coming today. And Yaten says, I'm very happy to be able to spend time with all of you. And Taiki says, please enjoy yourselves. And then they turn around and go up the stairs. I guess this is a 747.
It must be.
Minako and Rei are like, where are they going? And Ami says, I think they'll be back for an announcement after the movie. So this is one of those contests where you win a chance to hang out.
Yes.
With Drake and Josh.
Yeah, right.
And then you do it and they're like, hey, pretty cool. All right, see ya. And then they're off to lunch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. A ding goes off and the PA voice says, we're expecting another passenger. And Ami says, oh, someone is arriving late. And Rei says, there's always a donkey. Okay, Rei. Reminds me of someone. We see Usagi running down the jet bridge, and as the attendant greets her, she shouts, you can't let this plane take off! It's in danger! And the attendant is like, okay, thank you for flying Japan Air. Okay, bye-bye. And drags her inside the plane. And Squad sees her push Usagi up the stairs to the upper deck, and Mako says, how'd she get a ticket? And Mina says, oh, sure, she can show up. She shows up late, and she gets to go upstairs. Come on! Upstairs, Seiya sees Usagi and says, dumpling? But Usagi says, you have to cancel this event. There's something on the wing. But Seiya's like, how'd you get a ticket? But Usagi's like, the ticket. Yeah, but you shouldn't take off. But she's interrupted by Yaten saying, why don't you have a seat? We're already moving. And give me a scotch and water while you're up.
Oh my God.
Usagi looks out the window to see the terminal sliding by, and Seiya smiles as he stands and says, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll protect you if something happens. And he puts his arm around her. Speaking of clubs, you want to join the Kilometer High Club?
Oh my God.
We see the plane alight into the sky as Usagi in first class thinks, to send me a ticket directly, it must be some kind of a trap. What if something happens to everyone because of me? And when is the snack cart coming around? Well, you're going to be waiting a while for those peanuts because we cut to the crew area to see the staff of the plane unconscious on the floor. Their darkened star seeds above their heads. That's a good idea. Check the crew just in case.
Yeah.
I guess you can make phages out of them later. Standing over them is Jackie Killedy in her pink suit and Kubaka hat. And she says, I'll bring you a real star seed, Madame Galaxia, as we pull out to see the plane bank over Mount Fuji. As Usagi looks out of the window at the lights of Tokyo, Seiya puts his hand on her hands and gazes at her. And that's it. It's a weird moment.
Yeah.
And you wonder how many of these fan flights they've had. This plane's getting more action than the Starship.
Oh my gosh.
You know about the Starship?
No.
The Starship is a commercial airliner from the 1970s. And
Okay.
it was basically rented out. It was owned almost outright, I think, by rock bands over the course of the 70s and into the 80s.
Okay.
So Led Zeppelin had it first. Then Elton John had it for a while. Alice Cooper had it. Dylan and the band had it. Deep Purple, Allman Brothers, just everything on your classic rock station.
Oh my gosh.
All the way down. So you think Travis Bickle had a hard time with his cab. Try cleaning out a plane once Led Zeppelin's done with it.
Oh my gosh.
In the main cabin, we see the girls watching the Three Lights film, and it looks like it's the Super Commanders one, right? That we saw them filming before. It's a nice bit of continuity.
Yeah.
But the squad seems depressed. Manako says, if I can't watch it with 3 lights, then it's not worth watching. Yeah, the camp ravaging just hits different when you're by yourself. Speaking of something hitting, we see pink gas coming out of the air nozzles above the seats, and we see Siren watching this happen, saying, have a nice nap, everyone. She turns to the crew and says, shall we start cabin service? As back in the cabin, Rei and Manako are getting restless. They decide that Usagi can't hog all the fun with 3 lights, and they get up to confront her. But just then, in first class, the curtain to the crew area is pulled aside, and the crew emerges calling, attention please, fasten your seatbelt. They have been transformed into green, pink, and yellow jet-winged monsters who fire out sticky seatbelts that fasten 3 lights to their seats. No word on the tray tables. From the crew area, Sailor Aluminum emerges, saying, thank you for boarding. As Siren approaches, Usagi and Seiya, Yaten and Taiki say, this is what she was talking about.
Yeah.
Siren says, in exchange for the lives of 3 lights and the passengers, I'll take your star seed, Usagi Tsukino. Or should I say, Sailor Moon. Usagi and 3 lights are shocked. And Seiya says, Sailor Moon? Dumpling? Siren laughs and says, we are 10,000 feet in the air and there's no escape. Well, she hasn't seen Point Break. We hear, hold it right there. And regular Ray and the squad all file into first class. Guys, there's a problem. Everybody's asleep. You're on a plane. Maybe just change into superheroes for good measure.
Yes.
If it all goes wrong, it's a 747. There's at least 4 bathrooms. You can all just change back if it's just a technical issue. Siren says, who are you? Sailor stewardesses! The phages spring into action, and the lead one rams a drink cart into Ray, sending the whole group tumbling down the stairs. But nobody gets hurt, because this isn't the movie Sleepers. And there's a 90s reference for you. From the top of the stairs, the sailor stewardesses say, please go back to your seat. But Ray says, no way! Let's go, girls. And they charge back up the stairs, but the phages say, flying attack, and push them back down. Usagi tries to intervene, but Siren says, if you want to save them, give me your star seed. Usagi hesitates, and Siren reaches out to grab her brooch, but when she touches it, she draws her hand back in pain. But she smiles and says, that's a real star seed, all right. Give it to me, and raises her bracelets to blast Usagi. But just then, Seiya tears out of his bonds and calls, Fighter Star Power, make up! And we see him become her, Sailor Star Fighter. Usagi can't believe it. She cannot believe that Seiya is Sailor Star Fighter.
Yeah.
And maybe she's got an uncomfortable talk with her mom in the future.
Oh my gosh.
Mom, I don't know how to tell you this, but I fell in love with a boy who was a girl. So I guess I'm going to be antiquing with Ami and Mako
Mako.
in the future. Fighter says, I told you I would protect you if something happened, like me becoming a girl. Sailor Aluminum Siren says, oh, how terrible. And she looks to the top of the stairs where a just pile of multicolored girls are struggling against each other. And she says, Sailor stewardesses, get them! In their seats and unable to summon lust strength, I guess, are Yaten and Taiki, who say, stupid Seiya, and it can't be helped, respectively. They as well then transform into Sailor Star Maker and Healer, respectively, and are loosed from their bonds. Sailor Starlights, stage on. Everyone in first class is like, what? And Siren says, Sailor stewardesses! The phages lunge forward, but we get a Star Sirius laser that blasts them to the deck. Irresistible Feeling, My Friend's Love starts playing. As Healer says, you girls, get out of here! But Ray fires back, no! Usagi, transform! And as Ray leads the way, to the surprise of the Starlights, the entire squad becomes the Sailor Senshi. Siren, I hope you brought a parachute. Oh, wait, the TARDIS can appear anywhere, I guess.
That's true.
Just appear around the plane. That's her favorite move. Backed into a corner, Siren says, there's so many. What is this? Sailor stewardesses! The phages act quickly, throwing an oxygen mask and a life vest at the Senshi. Cute, but don't get attached to him because we never see them again.
Yeah.
But the drink cart is back and barreling towards Sailor Moon and Sailor Star Fighter. What are they going to do? But we get a, say it with me, Star Gentle Uterus! And a star-sensitive Inferno that repel the attacks and lay the stewardesses out like they're in Don Draper's hotel room. Sailor Mars says, now Sailor Moon! And we get the CPK that returns the stewards back to normal and returns their starseeds. Seiya tells Siren, now you're all that's left. Siren looks afeared, but she calls, Galactica Tsunami! Which is just her throwing juice and drinks and pretzels at everybody, I guess?
Yeah.
The Senshi use their attacks to smoothly subdue the swirling snacks. Nuff said. Sailor Mars says, you've got nothing left. But Siren says, I'll be back with another plan. As her phone booth appears to whisk her away. The Starlights and the Senshi stare at each other, each trying to come to grips with what they've learned about themselves on this fateful flight. Also, they want to know if there's any of those little ginger cookies left. Those are pretty good.
Yeah, those are good.
Those are good. In the space room, Galaxia says, Siren, I thought you were bringing back a star seed. Siren and Crow stand before Galaxia as Siren says, well, to be honest, I didn't know there would be so many sailor soldiers. Crow says, Siren, apologize to her, quick. But Siren says, well, it wasn't my fault. We hear the evil tinkling of bells, and a new voice says, you didn't really find it, did you? And Siren says, pardonnez-moi, I saw it with my own eyes. My you. Me? No, you. Miss you. Miss you too. No! Speaking of eyes, we focus in on the eyes of Queen Galaxia, and she's pissed. She says, don't bother. And Siren pleads, Madame Galaxia, I found the real starseed, really. But Galaxia idly lifts her arm and her jeweled bracelet flashes as Sailor Aluminum Siren's bracelets fuse together, restraining her, and colored light swirls around her as she screams for mercy. Sailor Lead Crow says, please, give her another chance, Madame Galaxia. But Galaxia closes her hand into a fist as Siren's bracelets disappear, and she screams, no! And Siren disappears too. Crow is beside herself, but we hear a laugh and a tinkle of bells as the shadowy figure steps forward, saying, it was too much for Siren. Crow glowers at the figure, a girl in a black leather bustier with bells all down the front, and a black headdress with cat-like ears and yellow eyes.
So help me God, yellow eyes.
It's Fetish Night at the Space Disco, and there's a 2-death minimum. At the airport, the flight has landed. God knows what the pilots thought was happening. And
Yeah,
three
really.
lights are seeing to their fans at the baggage claim. Of course, none of these girls have any baggage, right?
I don't think so.
I mean suitcases.
Yeah.
They are big Three Lights fans. Seiya looks across the concourse and sees the squad looking back with a similar inscrutable look. Usagi steps forward, but the lights turn and walk away, leaving the Senshi to wonder about the future.
Yeah.
And I think it's correct to say the lights turn and walk away. Because
Yes.
I'm talking about the individual members of Lights, not 3 lights as a concept of a band. The end.
Bravo.
Why didn't... What? What was the gas?
The gas?
Yes. The gas was supposed... This is very sloppy. This is a very sloppy... This is a fun episode, but it's sloppy. Gas comes out of the air nozzles.
Yes.
And she's like, au revoir to dreamland, you... Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's supposed to explain why there isn't a riot on this plane.
I think so.
But why aren't the girls affected?
I don't know.
Have them go, we're going to go upstairs and see what's up. And then you put the scene in where she goes, oh, good night, sweet dreams, you know?
Yes.
Then the gas comes down. They just get the gas in the face, but they're like, boy, I want to go upstairs. Like, what?
I'm not tired at all.
Yeah. They even show Ray, who looks frazzled because it's I assume frustration, and also having lived this movie. Maybe the movie sucks. I don't know. And she's like, I'm gonna go. Not like,
No, you're right.
yeah.
They aren't like that.
Is something gay going on here? Yeah. I have so many questions about the flight thing that I know will never be answered. Look up 2-hour charter flight, commercial airliner DC-10.
Yeah, right.
Don't think, I mean, that flight would cost thousands of dollars. However many there aren't enough box tops in the world to make that worth 3 lights' time.
Yeah, I know. And like,
Why not just do it on a boat or something?
it would make more sense. Because, I mean, at least with a boat, you could go out and
You
you
could buy
circle
individual
around.
helicopter rides for every girl on that plane, and it would cost you less than
Than a charter flight.
taking that plane. Right, chartering. Why? Again, we don't know. Maybe 3 lights on a 747. I don't know.
Yeah,
But this is not
maybe.
like a DC-9. This is a double-decker 747
Yep.
that they take up. You need a full crew, which means
Yep.
every seat on that plane that we saw was full. So you
Yes.
need a full cabin crew, pilot, co-pilot, the mechanics. You got to pay for Jet A. You got to fuel it up
Yeah.
and then fly it around. There's no way.
It's
There's
a
no way to
fiction.
make that remotely. Every time, it's a little different when Taylor Swift, everybody's hero and the savior of the world, who flies her jet plane down to Food Lion to get something to eat. She didn't eat at Food Lion. She eats at Food Unicorn. She flies her private jet too much, but she owns the jet,
Right.
and she's got, her own personal crew probably pays for, and then, the fuel's still expensive,
Yes.
but
She can afford it.
well, yeah, I mean, she can afford it too. This is nuts.
It is nuts.
This is a cartoon writer who's like, I don't know, get on a plane.
Like, what's novelty? Novelty. What can we do?
You could, right. Think about all the amusement parks and Ferris wheels in Japan. You could just rent out an amusement park,
Yeah, you could.
right? And then
Yeah.
put a big screen up on one side, and then everybody watches the movie and
Yeah.
goes on the rides.
That would almost make more
They
sense.
didn't want to draw that.
No,
So
they
like,
didn't.
What if they steal a plane? I still have questions. If you're going to become a permanent thief at the storehouse, is that a position?
It's a permanent position.
That's in the name.
Yeah.
Or have you found a storehouse that, well, they never locked this door. I'm going to be a permanent thief at this storehouse. But it's also a command. You're saying, you become a permanent thief at the storehouse.
Why do you think that Usagi sits down and stops yelling about what's going to happen? And is it because of her secret identity? She's like trying to tell the 3 lights
If
like what's happening.
Yeah. There is a moment where they're like, well, what do you mean? And she's like, well, you just have to stop it.
Yeah.
And so we don't quite get there. And yeah, I think you're right. I think that that's what this episode lacks. And the show has no problem giving us the characters' internal thoughts, right?
Right.
So why not, I'm Mr. Give Me More Secret Identity hijinks. And that's what's on the tin here. Or let's say the bag. But like a bag of chips, you open it and there's only a little bit of chips at the bottom. And you're like, what's the rest of the bag for? Right? There's like, this would be this is it. This is prime Peter Parker territory.
Yes.
And they don't do nearly what they could with it because they've got so much other ground to cover. They've invented this ridiculous scenario, but then again, that's how you get into a Peter Parker situation.
Yeah.
Oh, we've taken the special flight of the space shuttle, but Lois Lane and Clark Kent are there. And Clark Kent's like, how am I going to get out of this space shuttle so I can become Superman and then save this space shuttle from crashing?
Right.
Just lift up on the roof? How does his flying work anyway?
I don't know.
If it's crashing, can he just
raise the roof?
Stretch,
literally?
and just fly sitting down while he's holding the plane up? Come on!
Probably.
But yeah, so they've got her in that situation, but then also it's like, oh, we've got to do the big reveal of everybody's secret identities to each other.
Right.
And, well, I've got things I want to say for my review. But yeah,
Okay.
I think there's just too many things going on. They ate too much. They went to Hard Rock Cafe, then they went to a booze cruise, but that was a foods cruise. They might have booted over the side. It's fine. But yeah, I don't know. You got to pace yourself.
I guess. I just it seems weird she comes in telling the flight attendants, you've got to stop this plane. You got to do this and you got to do that. And
they're like, okay, crazy person, sit down.
Yeah.
We're going to go.
Yeah.
We're going to be in this metal tube with you for 2 hours.
Yes.
Sure. Like, why not call somebody to take her away?
Well, yeah, that. And then also why does she actually shut up and sit down and put her seatbelt on?
Because the episode has to continue. And also
I guess.
because ultimately she's she doesn't know what happened. She just got this letter and she doesn't know what a Sailor Aluminum Siren is.
That's true.
She's pretty sure something's wrong.
Yeah.
She was given the cabbie an earful.
Yeah.
But ultimately it's just, we got to get this thing in the air. They didn't have to. What if all this happened on the tarmac?
It could have all happened on the tarmac.
But it's kind of like a bomb, like in a movie. It's like you show a bomb, you got to blow it up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You have a plane, you have to have it in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Chekov said.
Yeah.
Chekov's plane. We all know that one.
Yeah, everybody knows that
If
one.
you show a plane, you have to fly it.
All of you relax. This is a matter of inconvenient timing, that's all. Rebooting the podcast was inevitable. This is simply the beginning. I thought I told all of you I want broadcast silence until further...
Ooh, I'm very sorry, Cal. I didn't get that message. Maybe you should have put it on Twitter. I figured since you were relaunching the Just Enough Trope podcast, you might be a little lonely, so I decided to be your co-host.
That's very kind of you. I assume you're our mysterious podcaster. You're most troublesome for a Sailor Moon fan?
Sorry, Cal. Wrong guess. Would you like to go for an all-new show where the hosts haven't really changed?
Who are you, then?
Just a fly in the ointment, Cal. The dye in the hard. The moon and the lighting.
She's talking about the rebooted Just Enough Trope, where we'll dive deep into the pop culture elements that make up your favorite movies, TV shows, comics, and video games. See if she's lying about moonlighting and find out if Bruno has returned.
No, respect yourself.
Miss Mystery Guest, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Unless you want to sing a duet with me.
No, I'm afraid not. But you have me at a loss. You know my name, but who are you? Just another podcast host who saw too many movies as a child? Another orphan of a bankrupt culture who thinks she's John McClane, Corbin Dallas, a crooning Alcapop pitchman?
I was always kind of partial to Seagram's Golden Wine Cooler, actually. It's wet and it's dry.
Do you really think you have a chance with this new show, Ms. Co-Host?
Yippee-ki-yay, Mother Cooler.
Just Enough Trope, 40 stories of sheer pop culture deconstruction. Available everywhere you listen to your favorite shows.
Do I sound like I'm ordering a podcast?
Today for Kuro Kuro Miru, or Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, we'll be talking about commercial air travel in Japan.
I feel, I guess we haven't talked about this.
No.
We've talked about people taking, domestic flights in Japan and what that would be like.
Yeah.
Just flying along the banana.
Yeah, right.
You're either going west or east, right?
Yeah, right.
Pretty much. But okay, cool.
When Japan ended its policy of sakoku, or isolation, in 1868, it had a lot of catching up to do with the West when it came to industrialization and mechanization. But with the advent of commercial air travel in the early 20th century, Japan was poised to join the international community in launching its own commercial passenger and freight services.
Huh.
Commercial aviation began in Japan on November 12, 1922, with the privately held Japan Air Transport Institute.
Huh.
Before this time, there were military flights and some civilian traffic at smaller airfields, but Japan Air Transport Institute provided the first passenger service between Sakai, Osaka, and Tokushima on Shikoku Island.
Oh, okay. So just on Shikoku Island.
Yeah.
How big is it? Or to and from Shikoku Island?
To and from Shikoku Island to Osaka.
I don't want to walk to the other side of the island. Fire up the plane. So okay. All right. So military, yeah. So I was going to say, is there a Mr. Airplane? There is, but it's probably General Airplane or something like that.
Yeah, probably.
Because they had military aircraft before they had civilian aircraft.
Yes.
So it's maybe it's the Red Baron or something.
Like many European governments, the Japanese government was a strong backer of commercial aviation, though the early companies struggled to maintain their operations throughout the 1920s. To promote civil aviation in the country, in October 1928, the Japanese government helped set up a national flag carrier known as Japan Air Transport Corporation, or JAT, which absorbed the Japan Air Transport Institute as well as two smaller companies. JAT began its first regular passenger service the following year, an international service from Fukuoka to Dalian via Korea commenced in September 1929. The formation of JAT spurred the construction of the first airport in Tokyo, Haneda Airport, which opened in August 1931 in Ota, Tokyo. Formerly, JAT flew out of the Imperial Army Air Base at Tachikawa Airfield in Tokyo.
Okay, so, and Haneda is still
around
now, yeah.
Yeah.
God, that's a long. There's got to be other airports that are 100 years old.
There have to be.
Yeah, but that's impressive. Okay, so all right, so they're who's flying, right? We've got commercial air travel. Anybody want to go see their granny?
Yeah, right.
On the other side of the country? Yeah. I would imagine that people's lives were pretty small still. I mean, there's business, but it's not like there's traveling salesmen or something like that.
Yeah, right.
There will be soon.
Yeah.
Because now you can fly.
Right.
That's interesting. And then the Japan Air Transport was the government was oh, you're our sort of official carrier.
Yes.
Okay.
JAT was fortunate to receive the equivalent of $1 billion in today's currency from the government during its first 11 years of service. In exchange for this huge subsidy, the government had free use of the aircraft and facilities of JAT, especially during the 1931 invasion of Manchuria.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're at that part.
Yeah, we are.
And it's not, they gave them money, but it's basically hold on to this, and we're going to probably use billions of dollars worth of your equipment and time.
Yeah.
In invading China. Great.
Exactly.
All right. Well, you're the flag carrier. Awesome.
The Japanese military, especially the Japanese Army, had a big role in the workings of JAT. In 1931, for example, during the Japanese invasion of Manchuria, the government freely used JAT's civilian aircraft, mostly the Dutch Fokker.
Fokker? Yeah. Fokker.
Super Universal.
I'll get you,
yeah.
Fokker.
Yeah, right. For a variety of military missions. This role declined when military transport missions in China were taken over by 3 new carriers that JAT helped to establish.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Manchuko National Airways in 1932, Huatong Airways in 1936, and China Airways in 1938. These subsidiary companies were joint ventures between JAT and the puppet governments of Manchuko and the provisional government of the Republic of China.
Okay, so bad, not good.
Not
But
good.
I
Yeah.
feel like a cool movie could be made about this time,
Yes.
right?
I feel like it could too.
You're working for Manchuko Airways.
Yes.
And it's not apolitical. We will definitely have, it's like Good Morning Vietnam, right?
Yeah.
60% we're here to to watch Robin Williams do an impression of a black hairdresser or something like that. You know, whatever that funny Robin Williams bits are.
Right.
But then some of it's like, what's this war about and why are we here, right?
Yeah.
Should we be here?
Yeah.
So you have that. You have like, oh, this guy, he's a former, Japanese military pilot. He knew the Red Baron. Now he's going to fly these commercial jets. But some of the stuff coming off these planes, what's going on here?
Yeah, right.
Should I be doing this?
Exactly.
But then like, nowhere to run to. We'll have to find some like period. Maybe about, well, it's 23 Skidoo. What are you doing? Made in China. Something like that.
Yeah. JAT shifted its focus to the civilian passenger market and more commercially profitable routes between Japan and Manchuko in 1936. With the start of the Second Sino-Japanese War in 1937, JAT benefited from a resurgence in military passenger traffic. In 1938, JAT carried nearly 70,000 passengers, representing 2.6% of the world's passenger traffic.
That's not, okay. Well, that's not nothing.
No.
70,000, I mean, billions of people fly, every year now, but 70,000's a lot. And 2.6% for an Air Force that didn't exist less than 10 years ago.
Right.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Of course, it's all soldiers going to mess up China, but
That's true.
gotta start somewhere.
Yeah. In December 1938, the government established a new airline, Imperial Japanese Airways, as a monopoly for civil aviation, and Japan Air Transport Corporation was merged into the new company.
So this is all, it's not quite socialism, but this is basically like, this is private and somebody's making money off of it.
Right.
But the government's basically calling the shots.
Yes.
And the government gave them all the money.
Yes.
So it's like government subsidized, like what we should do with the banks, where they're basically like have a say in, all right, now we're going to split this part off and this is all for Chinese GIs going out to China.
Yeah,
This
right.
part's for going to grannies.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
Yep.
Huh.
The beginning of the war in the Pacific in December 1941 profoundly affected Japanese commercial aviation. A month after the start of hostilities, the Japanese government suspended all commercial operations, and the airline services were now completely geared to support the military operations in the Pacific.
I always show up about 5 minutes too early, don't I?
Yeah. I mean,
They
talk
say,
about taking it over.
They say on time is late, but I always show up a little too early.
Thus, in 1941, the first era of Japanese commercial aviation effectively ended, and it would not be until well after the war in 1951 that Japan would again resume civilian air transport by forming what is today known as the Japan Airlines.
Japan Airlines, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just Japan Airlines.
Yes. Yeah, right. The original Japan Airlines Company was established on August 1st, 1951, with the government of Japan recognizing the need for a reliable air transportation system to help Japan grow in its aftermath of World War II.
Yeah. So all your planes now belong to us, the military.
Yes.
Whoops, we lost the war.
Yep.
So we got to
pretty
start
much.
all the way over.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's some planes left, but I bet a lot of them got blown up
Yeah, I think so.
and set on fire.
Yeah.
So the government's like, oh, we start all over again.
Yep.
And most of our pilots are dead.
Oh my God.
Crashed into battleships.
Oh my God.
Yeah. All right. Wow. Well, how'd that go?
The airline was founded with an initial capital of 100 million yen. Its headquarters were located.
Adjusted, or that must be 1951 yen.
I think it's 1951.
Because
yen.
100 million, maybe they did start that small, but that's not a lot compared to the billion that they got in the late 20s.
Yeah, I think it's contemporary.
Okay.
Its headquarters were located in Ginza-cho, Tokyo. On October 25th, Japan's first post-war domestic airline flight service was inaugurated using a Martin 202 aircraft named Mokusei and crew leased from Northwest Orient Airlines subsidiary TALOA.
Mokusei. It's our first flight. What does Mokusei mean?
It means Jupiter.
Oh!
Yeah.
Fun.
Our girl.
Yeah. Isn't she a lightning? You want to name a plane after lightning?
Yeah, you're right. It's not really good for the plane. By 1953, the JAL network extended northward from Tokyo to Sapporo and Misawa, and westward to Nagoya, Osaka, Iwakuni, and Fukuoka.
So we're getting most of the Big Island here.
Yeah, we are. On February 2nd, 1954, the airline began international flights carrying 18 passengers from Tokyo to San Francisco on a Douglas DC-6B named City of Tokyo via Wake Island and Honolulu.
So at this point, somebody's flown across the Pacific Ocean, right?
Yes.
But I'd like to be one of those 18 passengers.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're just like, all right, strap in.
I would be a
Come
little
on,
nervous.
City of Tokyo. Don't let us down. We want to make it to the city of San Francisco.
Yeah, exactly. The flights today between Tokyo and San Francisco are still flights 1 and 2 to commemorate its first international service.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. The early flights were advertised as being operated by American crews and serviced by United Airlines in San Francisco.
Okay, so they're like, don't worry. We
Yeah,
got this.
right. JAL flew to Hong Kong via Okinawa by 1955, having pared down its domestic network to Tokyo, Osaka, Fukuoka, and Sapporo.
Okay.
By 1958, the Hong Kong route had been extended to Bangkok and Singapore, and with DC-7Cs, JAL was able to fly nonstop between Seattle and Tokyo in 1959.
Oh. So that's, already people are coming in. Maybe if the Takei family wants to go back and check out the old country.
Yeah, right.
It's becoming more possible, more convenient to do that. Because people just took ships.
I guess.
They just took ships.
They must have.
Until you can get on a plane and cross that big ocean.
Yeah. In 1960, the airline took delivery of its first jet, a Douglas DC-8 named Fuji, introducing jet service on the Tokyo-Honolulu-San Francisco route.
I have to confess, I know a couple of airline pilots. I guess I've never talked about it. All planes aren't named, are they?
That's a good question. I don't know that they're all named. I never heard of that before.
I feel like the whole dog and pony show of like, oh, if you look out the right side of the, like, I'm Captain so-and-so.
Yeah,
I had
exactly.
3 Diet Coke and rums, and let's auger it in. You would know. They would say, welcome, you're riding the Spirit
Fukuoka.
of Chicago today. Yeah. So, they just named their planes. It's fun.
I mean, it is fun, but it reminds
Fuji.
me of...
We named this plane after its final destination. Let's take it in.
It reminds me of like how you always name boats.
Yeah.
But boats are always named. I don't feel like planes are. Like
They named space shuttles. Charles Lindbergh's
true.
plane had a name.
That's true.
Wonder if Amelia Earhart's did.
Great question.
Maybe we know what happened.
She didn't name her plane
You gotta
and it
name
was
that
bad
plane.
luck.
Yeah.
JAL went on to operate a fleet of 51 DC-8Ss, retiring the last of the type in 1987. Fuji flew until 1974 and was then used as a maintenance training platform until 1989.
Yeah.
Its nose section was stored at Haneda Airport and eventually put on public display at the JAL Sky Museum in March 2014.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. JAL also began flying to Seattle and Hong Kong in 1960. At the end of 1961, JAL had transpolar flights from Tokyo to Seattle,
Wow.
Copenhagen, London, and Paris via Anchorage, Alaska, and to Los Angeles and San Francisco via Honolulu, Hawaii. By 1965, Japan Airlines was headquartered in the Tokyo building in Marunouchi, Chiyoda, Tokyo. Around this time, over half of JAL's revenue was generated on trans-Pacific routes to the United States, and the airline was lobbying the United States for Fifth Freedom rights to fly transatlantic routes from the East Coast.
So, Fifth Freedom is just like, well, it's what it says. It's like the freedom, the licensure to go different places.
Okay.
It's like, because, like boats are like, oh, you're in international waters, and planes, you need to get permission to land places and, be sanctioned to travel in certain areas. And so fifth freedom rights just means it's like, being recognized by basically every country, So right now they're going between these like hubs and they've got permission and they're expected. But fifth freedom means that you can, it expands the range at which that you can go and be accepted, by other countries.
Okay.
So that's a growing thing. That's a good thing for them as a business.
The Trans-Pacific route was extended east from San Francisco to New York in November 1966 and to London in 1967. Flights between San Francisco and London ended in December 1972.
Let me want to do that one. So they're flying like over continental U.S. now.
Yeah.
And I like how half of their revenue is generated on these Trans-Pacific routes.
Yeah, I know.
So I don't know how much people are flying domestically in Japan, but these tickets cost a lot of money to go over the ocean.
Yeah.
So they're just raking it in on that. I like that.
It's not like terribly expensive to fly domestically within Japan, but it's almost easier to go by train.
People just take ferries and trains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In 1972, under the 45-47 system, or Yongo Yonana Taisei, the so-called aviation constitution enacted by the Japanese government, JAL was granted flag carrier status to operate international routes.
I think the 45-47 thing it's related to what I was talking about before, where they're like, it's regulation basically, like airline business regulation. Because before they were like nominally a private company, but basically, dictated to by the government. And so part of the 45-47 system is like they can only operate so much, and the government, kind of has oversight and control. But they're reaching a period of deregulation now, like we have here in America.
Yeah.
Where companies can do whatever they want and they can decide where they grow. And because aviation is a utility, basically, right? In a way.
Yeah.
And so there's a level of regulation that happens, but of course that's falling everywhere. We're letting businesses do whatever they want. Good or bad, that's a different conversation. But yeah, I think this is them saying, okay, things are going good now, so you can kind of do, make your own decisions and go where you want.
The signing of a civil air transport agreement between China and Japan on April 20th, 1974 caused the suspension of air routes between Taiwan and Japan.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. A new subsidiary, Japan Asia Airways, was established on August 8th, 1975, and air services between the two countries were restored in September.
Aha!
Yes.
What if we make a new airline?
Exactly.
Sneaky.
In the 1980s, the airline performed special flights for the Crown Prince Akihito and Crown Princess Michiko of Japan, Pope John Paul II, and Japanese prime ministers.
Huh.
Japan began considering airline deregulation in the late 1970s.
I always show up a little too early.
Yes, with the government announcing the abandoning of the 45-47 system in 1985.
Huh.
In 1987, Japan Airlines was completely privatized, and the other two airlines in Japan, All Nippon Airways and Japan Air System, were permitted to compete with JAL on domestic and international routes.
So 1987, 2 years to the end of the Showa era, and we know what happens after that.
Yeah.
So let me call my shot this time. I'm guessing things aren't going to go so well for the Japanese aviation industry.
I think you're probably right.
With the popping of the bubble and letting them do whatever they want.
Yes.
Let's watch.
The increased competition resulted in changes to the airline's corporate structure, and it was reorganized into 3 divisions: international passenger service, domestic passenger service, and cargo, including mail service. In 2001, Japan Air Systems and Japan Airlines agreed to merge, and they established a new holding company called Japan Airlines System, Nihon Koku Shisutemu, forming a new core of the JAL group. At that time, the merged group of airlines was the 6th largest in the world by passengers carried. In April 2004, JAL changed its name to Japan Airlines International, and JAS changed its name to Japan Airlines Domestic. And in June 2004, the parent company, Japan Airlines System, was renamed to Japan Airlines Corporation. It's a lot of renaming.
Yeah, deregulated.
Following the merger, 2 companies operated under the JAL brand, Japan Airlines International.
Right.
In 2009, Japan Airlines suffered steep financial losses despite remaining Asia's largest airline by revenue. As a result, the airline embarked on staff cuts and route cutbacks in an effort to reduce costs. The carrier also received 100 billion yen through capital injection and credit from the Japanese government as part of the proposed bankruptcy.
See, utility.
Yeah.
Not really deregulated.
No.
Can we have $100 billion? Sure. All right.
In September 2009, Japan's Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport, and Tourism.
It's lit.
Yeah.
Well, you got next. This is lit.
Yes, I love it. Formed a task force aimed at aiding a corporate turnaround at JAL, which examined various cost-cutting and strategic partnership proposals. After weeks of speculation, JAL applied for protection under the Corporate Rehabilitation Law, the Japanese equivalent of Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Here we go.
In January 2010.
This is later than I would have thought, but yeah, things weren't great, I guess, at the end of the aughts. So
yes.
Nobody's flying.
That's right. JAL would receive a 300 yen billion cash injection and have debts worth 730 billion waived.
That's just a trillion yen.
Yeah.
Here you go.
In exchange for which it will cut its capital to zero, cut unprofitable routes, and reduce the workforce by 15,700 employees.
Wow.
A third of its 47,000 total.
Yeah. All right.
Shares of JAL were delisted from the Tokyo Stock Exchange in February 2010.
Oh, man. Pardon our dust.
Yes. At the time, the bankruptcy was the largest Japanese bankruptcy involving a non-financial company and the 4th largest in Japan's history.
Oh, man. Remember those good old days where we were drinking gin, flying into Manchuko?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Those days are long gone. After considering partnerships with Delta and American Airlines, JAL emerged from bankruptcy protection in March 2011, and in January 2012, JAL announced its intent to relist its shares on the Tokyo Stock Exchange in an initial public offering of up to 1 trillion yen, which would be the largest offering in Japan in more than a year.
That's literally what happened. Except they didn't have to pay that money back. So they're like, thank you, government, for giving us $1 trillion. We are opening our IPO at a value of $1 trillion.
I know.
Come on, everybody, give us your money.
Today, there are 8 major international airlines in Japan with around 20 more smaller domestic companies and 3 dedicated cargo services. The 8 major airlines have market share in sales of 3.4 trillion yen, or about $3.4 billion.
Huh.
Of that amount, Japan Airlines and Nippon Airways make up around 90% of sales and 70% of Japan's 120 million annual air passengers.
Huh. So, okay. Those are the 2 big ones.
Yes.
And the rest is just like Qantas or something like that? It's like just doing small business?
Yeah.
90%, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. Japan has a total of 98 airports as of 2012, of which 28 are operated by the central government and 67 by local governments.
Okay.
About 20 million visitors travel to Japan every year.
That's not including like military airfields and probably civilian airfields. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Information about the early history of Japanese aviation in this segment was taken from www.centennialofflight.net and the Wikipedia page for Japan Airlines.
I had a friend who wanted to fly, and he never did. He wanted to be a commercial airliner, but he wanted to be a jet pilot for the military. But I don't know what the problem was. He was short, and that helps you. That's not bad.
Okay.
They turn tall people down. We got to sit in the cockpit.
That's true.
I don't remember what happened, but he did end up becoming a meteorologist, so he's fine. But he was really into airplanes and stuff, and it kind of rubbed off on me. I kind of ended up knowing a lot about airplanes and airport codes and things like that.
Really?
But but those are pretty big numbers. So they bounce back. Hey, too big to fail, right?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Well, unfortunately, a bank I don't think should be too big to fail, as long as the government bails out the investors, the people, and not the institution. But maybe you got to go see grandma. Maybe aviation companies are too big to fail. I don't know.
I know.
But it seems like they turned it around.
Yeah, they did.
And then COVID hit.
Yeah, right.
Which we didn't cover.
No.
But you can imagine.
Yes. Let's talk about what it's like to fly in Japan, and specifically flying economy class on Japan Airlines.
Okay.
In 2023, Skytrax, a UK-based review site, awarded Japan Airlines the world's best economy class, and 6 times since 2013 has awarded them world's best economy class seats.
Okay.
Economy class seats on Japan Airlines range between 17 and 19 inches in width, making them the widest economy class seats in any aircraft. The seats boast multiple seat pockets, 10.6-inch personal touchscreen monitors, and USB outlets for device charging.
Okay.
There is also a bifold tray table and an adjustable headrest. Food service on medium and long-haul flights begins with wet towels.
Of course.
Followed by a blend of Japanese and Western dishes. Usually a choice between 2 meals like beef sukiyaki and steamed rice or chicken salad with tomato smoked salmon.
Oh.
The meal also comes with an appetizer of Japanese soba noodles paired with fresh fruits and ice cream for dessert.
Wow.
And don't forget actual metal cutlery.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's how you know you're getting fancy. If you're flying from Tokyo to the United States with Japan Airlines, you'll have the choice between pork shabu shabu with sesame sauce, which I don't know how you can do that on a plane, because that shabu shabu is like you cook your meat yourself.
It just comes pre-cooked, I guess?
I guess.
And then microwaved?
I guess so. And ginger rice or chicken and quinoa chili con carne with barley rice, accompanied by a selection of side dishes, including deep fried tofu with a savory grated radish sauce, baby shrimp and potato salad with a tangy yogurt dressing, and salad with your choice of dressing. For dessert, enjoy a serving of Haagen-Dazs ice cream.
What the? And this is like economy class.
Yes.
So depending on your definition, I mean, it's basically coach, right? Or
yes.
is this like coach plus, like because economy is usually like the back of the plane, like the worst, right? This is their basic service, or is this something you sign up for? This
is basic. It's like coach.
This is pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be on a long flight to get a meal, right?
Yeah, you have to be on a long flight to get a meal.
Huh.
But
is this part of their reorganization? I have to imagine in the 80s, they're just like, throwing like a vial of Coke at you and just being like, whatever, just, But like, ooh, shabu shabu.
I know.
And soba noodles. Ooh.
I remember my in-flight meals when I went to Japan and back were actually pretty decent.
Huh.
But I think I flew Delta. I don't think I flew Japan Airlines at all.
It might have been. They work together.
Yeah, that's true.
So, okay. Well, sign me up.
Yeah. For long-haul flights to and from Europe and North America, you'll be treated to a delicious butter chicken curry complemented by a bell pepper and salad and a sweet blood orange jelly. Also on demand, snacks are offered as well as beverages, including coffee, tea, green tea, juice, alcohol, and soft drinks. For those flying from the U.S., alcohol is free.
Okay, wait, stop. First of all, butter chicken curry, delicious. But don't you usually want to offer smellless foods on a plane? Because everybody's going to have to smell it the whole time?
That's a good point.
Because I love curry, but once it's done, I want to go somewhere else and not just smell curry. But maybe they've solved that problem somehow. And then, why do you want to get everybody all buttered up to step off a plane in Japan and just be a drunk American?
That's a great question.
They're like, you can drink margaritas. Woo! Get the blender going.
That's unusual that it's free, I feel like.
Well, and it's from the U.S.
Yeah.
So going to the U.S., We don't want people stepping off the plane drunk.
Yeah. Going to Japan, perfectly fine.
So everybody that goes out comes back, right?
Yes.
Unless they're a terrorist. That's not funny.
Gosh.
So the volume of people going from the U.S. and then coming back, static, right?
Yeah.
But then maybe a lot of people, there's not a lot of people on the flight back, right?
Yeah.
Because it's U.S. tourists are going out. So maybe they're thinking, oh, this is an incentive for tourists. Nobody wants to fly. It sucks. But, this is going to make it go down a little easier.
I think
and
probably.
Then you get where you're going. And the guy's going to take you to the hotel anyway, where you're going to crash and spend 36 hours trying to figure out the jet lag. So
yeah, right.
So just let the vacation start now.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
I think you're right about that. Japan Airlines isn't known for having a lot of in-flight entertainment options.
Oh.
The selection of movies is limited, and they don't have TV series, but they are adding Disney Plus to their entertainment system, which you can listen to on your free provided headphones, as well as complimentary pillow and blanket.
You can fall asleep watching The Acolyte.
That's right.
Like everybody did at home. I don't know anything about The Acolyte.
I don't either.
It's just fun to bag on it, I guess.
Yes. On average, a long-haul economy flight on Japan Airlines will set you back around $400 to $600, while short flights are usually around $100 to $200. On international flights, you're allowed to check 2 bags without paying a fee.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. If you hear some typing, I'm going to be on Expedia.com.
JAL Economy Service details were sourced for the segment from Aviatrix on YouTube.
So... $400 to $600? Is that current?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So,
but 100 to 200 short flights. We're talking like domestic, right?
Yes.
Okay, a domestic JL flight.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, 400. Well, what? Let's go to Japan right now.
I don't know if we can get those prices.
Start drinking. But there's no long haul domestically, right? Unless you're going from Okinawa to Sapporo or something.
Yeah,
like that,
right. That would be a long haul.
But not even that long. It'd be like 4 or 5 hours tops.
Yeah, you're right.
So, Well, here's the deal. And I don't fly as much as I used to. I used to fly a lot. It just kind of is what it is. Nobody wants to do it. For a while we felt like we had it cracked with the JetBlues and the, funny safety videos and the basket of snacks, and that devolved into the horror show that is Spirit Airlines, which are they even operating anymore?
I think they still are.
Yeah, which is just like everything is extra and there's credit card ads all over everything.
Yeah.
And, with the coming the current economic apocalypse, who knows? I feel like people can afford to go places less and less. And the way to make flights cool and fun, it seems to be to have amenities, right?
Yes.
But the whole a la carte nature of the business in general, and the fact that we complain about like tickets and stuff, but like the overhead, is high. Like the margins are can be pretty thin.
Yeah.
In commercial aviation. Now at the same time, they're making a ton of money. They are who they are. But I hope that all these bastards are nailed to the wall. But the people at Boeing who were just like sending jets through without being inspected, they were doing that to save money because it's always, we got to get this plane out there. We got to make the flights, any plane that's just sitting there is not making money. Like that's the motivation behind it. I mean, they're evil to consider doing some of the things that they did.
Right.
But the motivation was, we got to keep this company alive. We can't go back to Congress and ask them for more money. So it seems to me like the less people that fly, because we're getting poorer and poorer, you're going to see flights become a soba noodle paradise. But it's going to be only rich people are going to be able to fly and afford this stuff.
No, you're right.
So, I don't know. But whatever the case, this sounds great. It sounds better than my apartment. And maybe we should, I don't know, you ever think about just like, it's $100 to go somewhere? What the hell? I'm just going to jump on a plane and go there.
I think that would be fun.
You can't get to Japan on $100,
no.
But, And then what do you do when you get there? I don't know.
Yeah, right.
It's not like you have to go to a hotel and they got the bit rack with like the 50 different brochures and you go, oh, Mammoth Cave. Like you don't, now you just get on your phone and go, what's cool?
Yeah, right.
And in 20 minutes, you'll be in a leather bar somewhere or something.
Itadakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? There's no unique food in this episode.
They said dinner. Mako said dinner.
Yeah.
Where's the maybe dinner got canceled when everyone passed out and all the flight attendants tried to kill everybody.
Yeah, maybe.
Do you think the girls got off the plane and they're like, I'm so hungry. Where are we going to have dinner on that? I got to check my ticket again. Oh, there they are. Oh, 3 lights.
Maybe the dinners all got destroyed when they were throwing the cart around.
Yeah, right. That's the Galaxia tornado or whatever.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like spaghetti on the wall. It's linguine. Now it's garbage.
Feeling Gauge, we rate a baddie 1 to 5, dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. The phage in this episode is called Miss Sailor Flight Attendants. At least that's what they were called in my sub.
In your new woke sub.
Yes.
Yeah, I had stewardess. And I had stewardess single.
Okay, interesting.
So again, I don't know if this is like a translation thing where a single can mean, is that a thing in Japanese? A single could refer to one flight attendant, 2 flight attendant,
yeah,
I don't know.
I think
I changed it to stewardesses when I was talking about them, but in my thing it was stewardess.
That's interesting.
Sailor stewardess. First triple Yoma ever?
It might be. There's been 2 before.
There's been 2. Twice.
At least twice.
And then when speaking of Jadeite and airplanes, when Jadeite died, he had the wax cops, but that seemed like some just magic thing or something that he'd pulled out. Like they weren't in the cocktail party, right? It wasn't like he was introducing the world to a new Yoma. I mean, they were Yoma in name only.
Yeah.
Yinos. But yeah, I think this is the first like triparite monster that we've had.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. There are 3 phages. One has green skin and a purple flight attendant outfit, and she's got green hair. One has pink skin and a purple flight attendant outfit and an orange inflatable life jacket, and she has maroon hair. One has yellow skin and a purple flight attendant outfit with an aqua apron, and she has orange hair. They have Sailor Fuku collars that have pink stripes on them and red bows. And their arms look like the wings of an airplane, except at the end they have long, thin fingers that look like flattened hands.
Yeah, or like the spread of feathers on like the end of a bird of prey's.
That's true.
Wings. That sometimes become fingers when a cartoon eagle is like, oh, give me that.
Yeah, right.
Grabs a can of beer or something. An American eagle. Here's what happened. The concept artist is coming home on a red-eyed JL flight, and he's not done. He's coming back from vacation, and he's not ready. His art isn't finished, and so he's sketching furiously. And he's like, "What do I do?" You look around. Diet Coke. No, that can't be a monster. Stewardess. They're doing the thing. She's wearing a life vest, just like in the video. Okay.
Yeah.
She's got an apron on. A drink cart. Right?
Yes.
Sometimes we talk about it like, oh, it's Sailor Fireman. Oh, it's got a fire hose or whatever. For kids, right?
Yes.
Totemic things that kids can understand.
Yes.
Sure, kids have ridden on planes, but kids aren't thinking about planes and the things that are on planes the way that a guy coming home on a business flight is, whose art isn't done for the meeting on Monday, right?
Right.
So it's just like, flight attendant. There you go. That's what we'll do. Guys, I got a great idea. And then people are like, okay, sure. Right?
Yeah.
I don't find these to be very creative.
They're not super creative.
And then they're like, and their arms are just wings. They're just going to like knock into things, have to go sideways through doors. It's like, no, they have fingers at the end. That doesn't make any sense. Why would a wing have fingers on it?
I know.
It's a lady with wings. Why are you breaking my balls?
Yeah, exactly. Now we're up to our rating. They stick their arms out like they're an airplane flying.
They don't make the noises, though.
They don't. They should.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity. They shoot safety belts out onto the 3 lights.
Yeah.
Which was weird. They come speeding by with a carton of refreshments, which they push into the girls and make them fall down the stairs. Which I feel like they'd probably be more hurt than they were.
Well, it's like a half flight of stairs, I guess.
I suppose.
Whatever it is, yeah.
They throw a oxygen mask at the girls and a life vest and threaten them with refreshment cart again.
Yeah, they just throw... I mean, this is an episode for just throwing things that are to hand.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm surprised, like, a half-frozen airline dinner didn't come out. But they're just like, oh, now does that blow up and, like, trap the Senshi against the wall because it's an inflatable raft or something? Actually, it just disappears. Oh, great.
Exactly.
Oh, a breathing mask. I feel great, thanks. Great weapons.
Yes, exactly. These were okay, Yoma, but they're not like stellar, out of the park. So I'm going to give them 3 out of 5 dark stars.
That's what you do. You default to, okay. I'm going to go ahead and give them a 2.
Okay.
Coming close to a 1, other than the novelty of... I like that if you've got, there's 3, right? And if there's 3, then one's pink and one's yellow. And
yeah, right.
Because, why not? No primary colors. Just make weird colors. And I just spent like 5 minutes taking a crap on it. But there is something, Doctor Who has done this for years. There's something to taking a mundane object or person and making them scary somehow.
Yes.
But they don't... we've talked about this before. There's so many more airplane things that they could do. This hungover guy that I'm positing exists, he said good enough and then he got his pillow and went back to sleep on his flight.
Yeah.
He should have worked, how do we get every ounce of juice out of the monsters on an airplane thing, like the movie Snakes on a Plane, right?
Yeah,
which
right.
wouldn't come around for a while. And it's just that they just don't do enough. Like, they look fine. I don't mind the airplane wing arms, do something. But there's so many things that they could do. And the fact that they had I love the drink cart thing, but the fact that they had to hit it twice, I think tells you everything.
Yeah, they didn't have
that you need to know
lot
about how much effort they put into this. So, yeah, I'm just going to say 2. 2 out of 5 dark stars.
Okay. I felt like we should also rate Sailor Aluminum Siren.
We have to.
Yeah.
We have to.
I like the French accent that you gave her.
Well, that's not.
I know.
That doesn't count towards the rating.
I know, but
I thought
I'd put that in. I like that she was a bit of an airhead and that she would absentmindedly be eating food before she would attack. I like that she teamed up with Lead Crow and that they were kind of a team. I like that she cleaned up her workspace and literally threw away Mouse's stuff. I like how she yells Galactica Tsunami and just starts throwing refreshments at the Senshi. I thought that she was pretty entertaining in her time here, so I'm going to give her 4 out of 5 dark stars.
Because of the heights to which we have climbed in the past.
Yes.
Like a DC-8 run by JAL.
Yes.
That is going right over Mount Fuji. It's hard to give an exceptional character a 5 when we've got the 5s of the past.
That's true.
There's nothing wrong with Scottie Pippen, but he had the misfortune of being on a team with Michael Jackson. And Michael Jordan.
Yes.
And so it's a 4. But it's a 4 that has aspirations to be a 5. It's an alternate 5, let's say.
Sure.
I really do like the character, and it's funny that one of the things I like about her is her partnership with Lead Crow.
Yes.
Who I have almost no opinion about, because sure, we're saying goodbye to her right now. She kind of had to dominate the relationship, but I don't know anything about Lead Crow.
Yeah, you're right.
So I'm guessing in the next 4 or 5 episodes, I'm going to learn about Lead Crow, but the partnership is only speculative and sort of imaginary.
Yes.
So my mind is making it cooler than I think it was in the show. And there are a lot of adventures I think that she could have had eating octopus absentmindedly as she's trying to find, a starseed. But again, maybe it's the effect of having 8 new characters on the show that nobody gets enough time.
Yeah.
And so you think about all the time that we spent with the Amazon trio, and then you think about somehow all the time that we spent with the Amazoness quartet. And these guys don't even get that.
No, they don't.
So I love the idea of the Kansai dialect, comedy duo that we never really got enough of. There's a weird thing. There's a heel turn that I think would have been stronger if she had had more time to grow, which is she starts off as this weird, airheaded, bad guy.
Yeah.
But then she sort of becomes a more
competent.
I've learned something here. I've got this.
Yeah.
I've got a new plan. And she becomes kind of mean, which is fine. But it's well, what's the evolution there? You're never going to find out because we got places to go and people to see and people to kill. But that being said, I like her. I think her costume suffers a little bit because she's basically one of a pair with Let Crow. And so they're both kind of solid one color a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's cool design. And I still don't know why she has a thing on her face.
I don't know why either.
But it's unique. It's sassy. It's brassy. I'm going to give her a 4. I'm going to miss her.
Yeah, I'm going to miss her too.
And I know for a fact that she'll never return because we don't have very many episodes left.
A lot of people actually ship her and Sailor Led Crow together.
Oh, okay. I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we're up to our rating. I like Minako's romantic 3 light fantasy. It's so funny.
This girl is well, they're all incels, I guess. But she's got she needs to get a date soon for real.
She does.
And be disappointed when reality comes crashing in, how unromantic boys are.
Yes,
in
right.
real life. And then she'll find a synthesis of those two.
Yes.
But she is, she is wrapped up in some fantasies here.
Yeah, she is.
They're drinking, well, they have martini glasses, but apple juice or something.
Yeah. Virgin martini.
Sparkling apple juice.
Yeah,
Please,
exactly.
Thank you.
I like how Usagi runs around to all the lights begging for a ticket.
All of the lights.
I like who Usagi immediately wants to warn everyone about Siren's plan. I like how the Starlights decide to reveal themselves and then the Senshi do the same. All secret identities are shattered. I don't like how the 3 lights stare at the girls and then just walk away. It seems cold. But overall, I felt like this was a pretty decent episode. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 roses.
I am torn because it's look, somehow we talk about this every week. Somehow they dug in and they found one more thing that these girls haven't done. And that's go on a plane.
Yeah, right.
They rode a plane, everybody. And so maybe we'll do that. But I do feel like it wasn't well exploited. It wasn't well fleshed out.
Okay.
In the way that I've already said. If you're going to do this, and they get to the plane. The funny thing is, they get to the plane pretty fast.
They do.
But you get on the plane, and then it's like an episode of a TV show. Usually House is in his hospital, but he's on a plane this week because we want to save money. And so right away you set up, we're on the plane. We're coming back from Australia or whatever. And then somebody gets sick. And then we go through all the things, but we're just on a plane. And this is they get them on the plane, but it doesn't really matter that they're on the plane. It's just like a way to kind of sequester them and get everybody together. So it's face it straight. You got to reveal your secret identity. There's no running to the bathroom.
Right.
There's no seeing somebody, hearing a scream and looking around a corner and then transforming. The only way to do it was to put him in a vacuum-sealed tube 10,000 feet in the sky. And you could easily have done that climbing Mount Fuji, or maybe in a submarine below the water.
Yeah,
or,
right.
At your, uncle's wedding reception or something like that. I don't know what it is, but that seems to be the main focus of why they did this. That and the guy that I talked about before. That definitely exists. So unfortunately, they didn't really dig in and like find the best ways to entertain you with the fact that they're on a plane. So I am going to go 3. I talked myself into a 3. I'm glad I didn't say the number right away, because I do feel, I feel unsatisfied.
Okay.
I feel like they're out of those little ginger cookies, and I don't like it. And there's also just connective tissue that's missing, like the gas. Like, what do they get gassed or something like that, but they're not gassed or something.
Right.
And it's fun to bring the movie back, but that doesn't. It's not like the girls
really pay off.
See themselves like they were in the movie or something like that. They're like,
that would have been fun.
Wait for this part. Oh, look, there we are. I've seen it. I lived it. There's nothing like that. So we've been strong so far, but this feels, and then maybe this is the effect of like, this is another milestone. Now we're going to careen off in another direction because we know, the secrets.
Yes, right.
The secrets and lies.
The secrets will be revealed.
The secrets are out. Yeah. So now that's going to hopefully elevate it. But in the past, the Battle of the 10 Warriors, everybody's favorite episode, that's a huge status quo changer. And yet it delivers what it delivers. And
that's
so
true.
Seeing these guys fight in a plane, you could have done more. But whatever, it's fine. It's a 3 out of 5.
All right.
It could have been way worse.
Yeah, I could have. My English title is Up in the Sky, Might Die.
Well, that's good. That gets it done. It's functional. Like this episode. This episode is about people flying in a plane and people, not being honest about who they are. And so my title is The Unfriendly Lies.
Next episode, we were talking about episode number 189. Shime to yujo no hazama. Seira senshi tachi no taritsu. In Japanese, and the English translation, Duty of Friendship, Conflict Between the Sailor Guardians.
Ooh, interesting.
Yes.
We don't get this very often.
No.
Usually they're fighting over boys, usually.
Yeah, usually.
Or something. So I'd like to see what this conflict is going to be about. What's behind it?
Me too.
All right. Looking forward to that. I hope you're looking forward to what's going on our Patreon, because we're producing new things every week. Patreon.com/Sailor Noob. We've got a half dozen other podcasts for you to listen to, in addition to outtakes from the show, and our special Sailor Cinema movie review podcast. All of that is available, extra material, on our Patreon. Go check it out. Take a look for free. Doesn't cost you anything to look. Patreon.com/Sailor Noob. Become a senshi today.
Well, that's our show for this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor News.
Is something gay going on here?